Thanks everybody for joining us this afternoon. Here's our agenda. We're going to give you a quick overview of Accusoft and tell you a little bit about our company. The other thing we're going to just hit on at a high level very quickly is some results from a developer survey that we've done. So what this is essentially we did a survey of some of our customers to find out what's important for them, and it helps us to drive what we present in our training sessions and what kind of things we can do to help improve our products for our customers. We'll give you a quick overview of Accusoft solutions, specifically the cloud-based APIs that we're going to be showing you today. And we will show you a demonstration of those using our file manager tool. So we're going to show you a very graphical user interface interaction with those APIs. But again, everything that we show you today is available via RESTful API via our cloud services, and it is available as a sample code that you can download to get started very quickly. At the end, we'll show you how to sign up and get started right away. And as Natalie said, we have time for questions and answers at the end of the session. So let's go ahead and get started. So Accusoft has been around for 25 years. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. We are locally owned and here in Tampa, in sunny Tampa, Florida. We've been in the space of document and image processing for most of that time. We started out primarily doing image processing toolkits. We have over 30 patents in the area and have been recognized as a thought leader in this area. We do have thousands of customers worldwide using our products in their applications, and our customers span multiple industries. So we have a lot of tools that fit into a lot of people's document processing workflows. As I said, Accusoft is recognized as a leader in content and imaging solutions. We primarily focus on solving document lifecycle complexities. So how do we do that? We build components that can be added into people's applications. We're very customer focused, listening to what our customers' requirements are and how we can help enhance those solutions by bringing our functionality to the table. We do, especially with our cloud stuff, which you'll see today, the cloud APIs are all continuously developed, so we have a very active product roadmap, continuously releasing new features as those are available. A very high quality responsive support department as well. And as you'll see here, I think you'll see some very forward-thinking leadership. As I mentioned, we're going to talk about the developer survey. We're just going to go over a couple of the questions that we asked our customers. And of course, you know, the one that we were probably most interested in is what is their greatest challenge when developing software. So, you know, we kind of wanted to find out, like, what are the things that you run into when you're developing your applications that are roadblocks or hindrances into effectively developing those solutions. And the biggest one that we found was time. And so, you know, what you'll see today is some ways that you can quickly add some processes into your application. And again, as I said, everything we do is available as sample code, so those are things that many of our customers are able to download and save themselves a lot of time to implement those features into their applications. Another thing that we wanted to know is if our customers are people that we've engaged in the survey, if they develop software that includes document or imaging processing functionality. So this was more of a broad question just to developers in general, not just our customers, because we wanted to see how many people out there were using imaging or document processing APIs or toolkits today. And then what are the people out there that hadn't started to kind of address those type of problems, and how we could reach out to them and really kind of help them to solve their problems as well. And so we did find, you know, a good percentage of people, 55%, that hadn't started building those kind of solutions yet, but they do have, of course, they have documents that they're using in their workflows every day. So there's definitely some interest there. So that's kind of lead to lead to us, you know, wanting to put together some training sessions like the one we have today, where we can kind of show how Accusoft can help. So just a quick high-level overview of the APIs that we're going to talk about today. So as I said, we provide an extensive suite of tools. All these ones that we're going to talk about today are cloud-based. All of this functionality is also available on-premise as well in a toolkit format. So depending on what kind of solution you're looking to produce, we probably have a toolkit or an API here that can help you. The core of that, of course, is the document viewing. So in the life cycle of any document, people are opening those documents, searching within the documents. Maybe they're collaborating with annotations on the document. They might be removing content, securely redacting content from documents before they send them out to customers. They could be signing those documents. They could be doing this on mobile devices, on tablets, could be on any type of device. So having that flexibility and that technology to do that is very important. Of course, a lot of times documents in the life cycle are coming in from a scanner type. They're going to scan in a contract, for example. And so when those things come in, they're going to be image files. And so to make that really useful in the workflow, that needs to be converted into a text-based format, like a PDF with text, where that can be searchable within their content management systems. We also offer compression technology. So again, most of our customers, they have images in some format, whether that be on their website or in their applications, and those images can take up space, they can take time to load on the website, and so compressing those images with our toolkits and our APIs can save as much as 70% of the space that's required for those images. It's going to save on your storage space, it's going to increase how fast your websites will load. So very, very efficient driving API that we'll show you here today. We also have the ability to read and write barcodes. So a lot of times documents coming in have barcodes. The information from the barcodes might be data that needs to get updated into a database. It could be data that's used for routing those documents. And so being able to extract that information and then use that as part of the workflow is very important. Also, because of the variety of documents that we support, we also offer the ability to convert those to common formats like PDF, which is probably the most common, but we support dozens of document types in our viewing and in our solutions for things like Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, CAD drawings, DICOM medical images. All these things we can view, and we can also take those and convert those to a PDF format or common image formats. And then kind of as the end of this cycle, you have a lot of content that the companies have that when they're either sending it out of their network or they're archiving it or something, they may want to watermark it for just for protecting their intellectual property, putting something up on their website. And so we offer APIs as well that can automate that process. So today's demonstration, we're going to show you how to use some of these APIs. And this is, again, these are APIs that are designed for developers to implement into their application. So we're going to show you kind of a sample kind of workflow or use case that we've seen with customers where they get documents that come in to their organization, and those documents are scanned in this case. So there could be documents that a contract that was scanned in or a check that came in, and these things get scanned, but they want to put these into an electronic format. So when those documents first make their way into the electronic workflow here, they're going to come in as scanned TIFF files. So that, as we know, is an image format, right? It's purely an image. It's not searchable. It's really not the most ideal format at that point. So what we're going to do today is we're going to drop a couple documents in, and we're going to do a few things with those. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do an OCR. So we're going to do optical character recognition to extract the text from that image, and we're going to save that as a PDF with text, so it does become searchable. We can also take things, one of those images, and we'll convert it to a different format. In this case, we'll convert it to PNG. We'll compress it so it doesn't take up as much storage space on our servers, and we're going to apply a watermark just so we can show you kind of how we can do, really the purpose of that is just to kind of show you how you can chain together multiple API calls as part of that, automating that process. We'll do a barcode read, and we'll also take a proposal that's multi-page and convert that to PDF as well. So let's take a look at it. So to start out, I'm going to use the File Manager tool on the Accusoft site. So when you log in to Accusoft, which we'll show you at the end of the webinar where you can sign up and create a free account, when you log in, you'll have access to this File Manager to start interacting with our tools. So the File Manager, like anything that you've used, is pretty simple, right? You've got files and folders in here, and we're going to upload a couple files. And the benefit of this is it's going to give you the ability to come in and, like I said, start kind of testing out our tools without having to write any code. And then once you decide this is the solution that I need, or these are the APIs that I want to use, you can grab the sample code right from our site and get started right away. So I'm going to grab a couple files. Now that my files are uploaded here, they're in my browser, and again, I can do this from any device, right? All of the code, all of these things that we're showing you today will work from any device, and I can now start to process some of these files using those APIs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through and show you how I can execute some of these API workflows right from the File Manager. Then I'll take you in and show you how to create one of these workflows so you can log in and set up some of your own when you want to do your testing. I'm going to start off with this benefits file. The first thing I think I want to do here with this is when I right-click on this and say workflows, it's going to identify the type of file, and it's going to look into my workflows and say what workflows have I built that will work for this type of file. In this case, what I want to do is I wanted to convert this one to a different format, so I'm going to convert it to PNG, and I'm going to compress it, and I'm going to apply watermarks. So I'm going to do all three of those things with clicking of one button. So I'm going to select that, and we will just call this benefits. It'll come out as a PNG file. So we're going to go ahead and kick off that workflow. That'll process in the background. At the same time, I've got these other two TIFF files. I've got a check and I've got a proposal. I want to take these two, and I want these ones to be OCR'd. Remember, we said it's important to be able to take the content from those image files and extract the text and make it searchable. So we're going to go ahead and do that with these. And again, this is recognizing based on the type of file that I've selected what's available to be processed. So you'll see when we create these workflows that it's very, very easy to set this up, and this allows you, a very, very easy way to start interacting with our tools. So once I've sent those for processing, depending on the size of the files that I sent, it may take anywhere from a couple seconds to a couple minutes, depending on the number of steps that I've processed there. You can see that I've got some results back right away. So there's my benefits TIFF file. We can see now that we've got a converted PNG format of that, and if I open that up in the viewer, you'll see that my watermark is applied. And we'll show you how to set this specific workflow up as well. The other thing that I did was this check. So you remember the check was a TIFF file. We converted this to a PDF in this case. So this would be an example of a customer sends a check in. It gets scanned into the system, maybe that even automatically scanned into the system. You can set up this type of a workflow to automatically OCR that document so that when you save it into your system, it can save as a PDF that's attached to the customer's record, and it's searchable, and it's also maybe you use a barcode to route it to the right customer's account. So it really helps you create some of those automations. And now you'll see here this is an image file, but because it's a PDF now, we've converted this. This text is now recognized, so I can highlight that text. I can copy that text, and if I go to my search bar, you'll notice that I can now search for that text. And now it's searching right within that, in this case, within the check file. It's finding everywhere that I have the word company or I have the word name. And of course, I could, do more advanced searches like search for exact phrases, words that begin with, end with, case-sensitive searches, and wildcard searches as well. Then the last one that I processed was our proposal. And you can see here's the proposal TIFF, and now we have a proposal PDF file. So at this point, I'm now ready to start interacting with this file. I can zoom in, zoom out. I can select specific areas of the document that I might want to zoom in and have a closer look at. So now this is where I can use those kind of interactive viewing tools. I can navigate with thumbnails. I can do things like we showed you the search capabilities. I could redact some sensitive information. So if I wanted to remove some information before I sent this out to a customer, I could easily do that using my redaction tools, which will securely remove any information behind that redaction. I can redact entire pages. I could also sign this document. So if I wanted to, right from here or from my mobile device, I could sign this document and place that signature on the document anywhere that I wanted to. I've got multiple signatures here, so we'll use this one. And I could just place that on the document. So, as well as today's date. So again, all of these tools are happening right in the browser, making API calls to our servers. And again, these are all things that these calls can all be made right from your application. So you can build this functionality right into whatever application you're developing. So let's look at how to create one of those workflows. So from the Accusoft site, we have a tool called API Connect, which allows you to kind of stream together some of these API calls to do things like we showed you with the conversion and the compression and the watermarking. So the real benefit of that is it helps streamline your processes from a development perspective because you have to write far less code. So you can write, if you were going to write that process, you would have to make probably 9 to 12 API calls to put a file up there, have it converted, and then you'd have to check for the results and get the results back, and then you'd have to put the next file up and have it compressed, and so on, and until your process was complete. With the API Connect tool, you're only going to have to put the file up one time. All the processing will happen on our servers, so it's going to save time in that regards without having to send the file back and forth. And it's also going to save you a lot of time in your coding. So let's create a new workflow here. Again, to use this, you'll just have to be logged in to your account on Accusoft. And once you're logged in, you can just come in and create a new workflow. We're going to give it a name. Hit the plus sign, that'll create a new workflow. The first thing it's going to ask us is what type of file are we expecting as an input? In this one that we'll do right now, I think we'll set one up that will take a JPEG as an input. I can do generic images if I want something that's going to work with multiple image types. Same thing with documents. In this case, I want a very specific workflow that's going to take a JPEG as an input. So I'll select that. It's going to just show me here what that variable name is. So as you go on and if you want to build this functionality into your app, it just kind of is giving you a hint as to what that's going to be called. So now I've got the JPEG. Probably the first thing I want to do with that JPEG is I want to compress this because this is maybe going to be a bigger image. So when I add the compress to my workflow, that now gives me some other options here. You can see that I've got a mode, a quality factor, and it's asking me if I want to remove the metadata, and I can simply click my little gear here, and I can select those parameters. So I can change the JPEG mode, the quality factor, and remove metadata. So all of that's some of the options available to me. The other thing that you'll notice is as I add a new step in the workflow, it's telling me based on what you're doing here, which is you're outputting a JPEG. So I'm outputting a compressed JPEG. From there, these are the API calls that are available as a next step. So we said we wanted to compress it, which we just did. The next thing we want to do is convert it. So let's convert that to a PNG. And then in this case, if it was multiple files that we could select what we wanted to do with each one. In this case, it's just one image. Maybe we're just going to convert it to PNG. So we'll select that and we'll say we're converting it to PNG. And then the last thing we want to do is apply a watermark to that. And again, we've got some parameters here that we can set. I'll set this at a 45-degree angle. We'll put a watermark on there. determine where we want that watermark to be located, and what the size should be. All of these things that you're seeing here that I'm setting using the graphical interface are all, again, parameters that you can pass to the API when you create the automations in your document processing workflow. So once I've set all the steps of my workflow, I simply say complete, save it, and now I've got a workflow called product training. If I was a developer, this becomes the ID that I would use, the workflow ID that I would use. So when I said you cut down on the number of API calls you make, now I could just make an API call that sends a file to that workflow ID, and that will then process it through all those steps and return the result file to you. So if we go back to our file manager, we said that we created a workflow there for JPEG files. So I've got a sample JPEG file here. So we just grab one of these files here and we can say, this is a nice picture of a parrot. I want to go ahead and go to my workflows, and there's the product training workflow that we just created, again, without writing any code. I'm going to select that, give it a name. We'll execute that workflow. And so now in the background, we've taken that file and we've said, okay, take this JPEG file. We make one API call to pass it to the workflow processor. It's going to go through. It's going to process that image. Again, it takes a matter of seconds. There's our PNG file, and we open this up, and we've got our compressed PNG with our watermark applied. So that is how to use the API Connect tool, how to use the file manager, a great way for you as an Accusoft customer to kind of connect up with our services, test them out, find out which APIs will fit best in your document processing, and really help you get started quickly with our product. Again, once you have done that or you've come to our website, the easiest way to get started is to just log in. Right from our homepage, you can click sign up for a free account. You can get started testing it for free. We make it very easy for you to, again, download sample code and test this out. And from all the things that we've showed you today, the viewing technology, we have sample code for that, as well as all of our APIs for barcode compression, conversion, and OCR. And you can get started right away. So at this point, I think we're going to look and see if we have any questions. So it looks, so the first question we've got here is, says, when I sign up for an Accusoft account, do I get access to all the APIs, or do I have to purchase each API separately? So the answer to that question is you do get access to all of them. So we have subscriptions available. And the subscription plans will give you access to each API. They are based on transactions, so the number of transactions that you perform, whether that be OCR transactions or conversions or whatever, just go against that subscription. But yes, you can use all of those and try those all for free. The next one is, can I use Compress API in my WordPress site? That's an excellent question. We know that here at Accusoft that there's 70 million web pages or websites in the world that use WordPress. So yes, we have created a WordPress plugin that uses our compressed technology. It's called Prism Image. So if you go to the WordPress site and search for Prism Image, you'll find that. Again, you can install that and set that up to automatically compress any new images loaded up into your WordPress site. The next question is, what is your pricing structure? And so the question for the pricing structure is, we talked about it, we touched on it briefly there. It's a subscription base for the cloud where you pay a monthly amount. If you sign up for an annual subscription, there's a discount available there. And it is all based on transactions. Transactions are defined based on the API you're using. So if you're using viewing, it's a document viewing session is one transaction. OCR, a document OCR would be a transaction. A document or an image compressed would be one. Same thing for a barcode read or write operation would be a transaction, and a document converted would be a transaction. Someone did ask about the sample code. So to find the sample code on our website, there's going to be a couple places you can find that. If you go to the page that talks about the specific API you're looking for, you will have in the menu bar, you'll see a pull down under support that has a link to code samples that you can get download right from GitHub and get started with. What's the easiest way for me to test the APIs with my documents? So I think that that's a good question. I think, in my opinion, I think it's the file manager that we showed you today. I think it's a great way for you to, if you really want to test it with your documents, just log in, drop your documents in, test them out. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We can answer questions. If there's any specific documents that you maybe even you're having challenges with, just let us know. We have, like I said, we have a fantastic support department that's here to help answer those questions and help you find the right product.